Unleashing the fury like an untamed beast, locked in a cage where strength is released. Striking precision, grappling with might, the Golden Octagon. The stage we ignite. Unleashing the fury like an untamed beast, locked in a cage where strength is released. Striking precision, grappling might, the Golden Octagon. The stage we ignite.
And we are live. Welcome to the Golden Octagon MMA Podcast with your hosts, Matt and D Rose.
And what's going on, y'all? Welcome to the Golden Octagon MMA Podcast. My name is Matt. D Rose is on that side of the screen. As you see, both sporting the TGO merch. Shout out to D Rose. Appreciate you guys for stopping by here tonight. Truly do appreciate it. If you guys wouldn't mind, hit that thumbs up button for your boy. Yeah, D Rose, I feel like I'm as clogged as like a truck stop toilet at like 2:30 in the afternoon right now, dude. My nose is just so stuffed up. So I apologize if I sound clogged right now. But yeah, I'm going through it. How you been? Well, I guess I know how you've been, but let the people know how you've been over the past couple of weeks, my guy, because we didn't have any fights this past weekend. I drove in to see you, but no one else saw you.
No, everything's been great over here. Ended up coming down with a little bit of a cold. I'm hoping I didn't pass it over to your way. I went to the doctor's office the other day, and they said it was didn't test positive for COVID or flu, but they said it was a bacterial infection. So I don't know what. Whatever. Just give me my medicine and get me out of here. So, just been a little, kind of same thing, a little bit stuffed up. I guess we're sharing the same thing here potentially, but other than that, man, no, everything's been good. I hadn't really, I've been staying low in the betting a little bit. I tried a NBA thing, here or there a couple times, but hey, I've stayed low for the most part. And yeah, I honestly really this past weekend with no fights, man, it was kind of tough because I haven't really been watching hockey. I don't really watch hockey. I don't watch baseball, and basketball is down to kind of one game a day to where there hasn't been as much action. So yeah, there was definitely a void this past Saturday not having any fights.
I agree, man. I agree. That's why I drove over that way because I didn't have any fights to watch, but. With that being said, let's get in the chat. Let's see what everyone else has got going on. And after we go through the chat, we'll do a new feature that I see StreamYard has added. So we'll see if that works. Anyway, we got Lush in here. What's going on, Lush? Appreciate you stopping by here tonight. We got Austin in here. We got Dave rolling a fatty, apparently. We got Bro Jogan in here. What's going on, man? Dave says eat some beans. Nope. I will not be eating beans tonight. I will not be getting tricked into it because I had to think back. I'm like, oh, that's right. I already ate the beans. I ain't got to eat beans. I ate the beans on Sunday. So if you want to go back and watch that, feel free to go watch it. I'm not eating more beans today because I get bad, terrible luck on the beans. What's going on, Antoine? How you doing tonight? Yeah, I enjoyed the week off. I did miss the fights, though. Not going to lie. Apparently Tough started last night, and I didn't even see it, man. Them shirts are clean, says Lush. Shout out Lush. And also, you guys been watching the NBA playoffs? Indeed, I have. Yeah, I have to say I'm going for the Knicks though. Lush going for the Pacers because Lush is in Indiana.
I like Jalen Brunson because I'm a Dallas Mavericks fan, so he came from Dallas, but. Man, Halliburton and the Pacers, man, they've been cooking, and they've been cooking all playoffs. They dusted up Milwaukee, they dusted up Cleveland, who was the #1 seed, and yeah, they're up 3-1 now. Man, the Pacers they look really good in these games.
Yeah, they got to watch out for Big Purr though, you know. All right. With that being said, we appreciate you guys stopping by here, hanging out with us here tonight. What we got going on is just basically we are going to go over the news and UFC fight announcements. We got a lot that has happened, and we were teased with something yesterday that there would be news today, and it came out, and this is hinted to D Rose, and we were both just kind of upset. And then we will get into our UFC Vegas 107, Aaron Blanchfield versus Macy Barber, our preview and our picks. And D Rose, I got to admit, on like half the fights this weekend, probably over half the fights this weekend, I'm on the dog. I'm on the dog on a lot of fights this weekend. So should be a fun one, man. Should be a fun one. Just a quick recap, real quick, that if you guys did miss our UFC Vegas 106 picks, that's why D Rose has got the pick champ over his shoulder. It was Luana Pinheiro, Tisha Torres, Park versus Hernandez, and Stolfoots versus Rizaboev, and D Rose got 2 of those 3 right. That's as far as I'm going. Anyway, with that being said, D Rose, anything before we get into our news segment, man? Because you actually like, you know, I'm not going to tell you, hey man, I seen that a long time ago now, but it's like D Rose actually sent me this like link, and I actually gave him my thoughts and opinions on that. And it's my immediate thought was, man, this is cool to have now, but now we're kind of relying on a new star to emerge that's not in the UFC yet, that hasn't fought yet. So kind of rough. I'm hoping that they can maybe throw on some, like, you know, pay-per-view specific patches and like throw them in cards. That would be cool as well. Not just this debut patch, but that's just my opinion. Cool though. I'm glad they're doing it, but man, how cool would it have been for like all the fighting nerds to have? But we can't have them anymore now. You know, I like them, but they're usually a few years behind in my opinion. They missed some solid rookies, unfortunately. Yeah, especially like this year, like with all the fighting nerds, they really missed the mark because all the nerds are coming this year. And you can no longer.
Well, I guess they're saying, hey, there could be a potential that that could happen. You know, coming up, because they said that Andreas Gustafsson, he's going to be the first fighter ever to wear one.
Yeah.
So let's see if he can. Let's see if he can turn into something.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Anyway, just give me a damn piece of fight. He's Matt Relic. Right, Dave? Right. Just have a little piece of blood on it and just let me know on the card which pay-per-view it came from. That's all that we're asking from. But D Rose now, they're just like putting just a mat in there, and it's like, this did not come from any specific event, like or anything. So it's kind of like, did this just come from the fucking PI? Like, because it's like, right, if it didn't come from any specific event and you can't even let us know where it came from, was it like, is this just a piece of like mat they didn't use at all? Like, that's the part that I don't like. Like, we're paying our hard-earned dollars for this shit, and it's like they can't even give us like specifics on like the piece of mat that it came from. It's not hard. Just once you're done, roll it up, write the event on it. It's that simple, you know. I don't really get it. Anyway, enjoy this random piece of canvas mat, right? Enjoy this random training brawl that may or may not have been touched, or even, you know, it
could have been the backup
piece.
Piece
from Target.
Yeah, it could have been the backup piece that was just laying like in the backstage, like hadn't even been thought about being used, and they're just like, why not? Just in the third.
It could be. It could be. Yeah. Yeah, man. So that's just some shit that grinds my gears with UFC cards. But we really don't talk cards on here too often, but kind of cool too. But with that being said, let's get into our UFC news and fight announcement segments that we have this week. And quite a bit of news has gone on in the past couple of weeks, because we weren't here this past weekend. So with that being said, here we go, D-Rose. So let's just start here. Ugh.
Is right.
No one wants to see this, right? We can all agree on this that, bro, we seen this fight, was it 2-3 fights ago for both fighters, right? Like it was like 2 years ago. Yair has done nothing to show he has improved at all. Volk maybe not be at Volk's maybe not at his, prime of, what he has been ever, but he hasn't dropped enough, in my opinion, to where this changes this fight at all. So I don't know if this fight happens. I don't know why they're doing this. I understand. Oh yeah, no JUFC. We got to put a Mexican as a as a title challenger. But in my opinion, no, you don't. You didn't do it last year. You did Marab versus Sean O'Malley, and the press conference was set up perfectly this past pay-per-view when all of them fought between Diego and Yair. Diego lost, so okay, he's not the champion, so that would have worked if he would have beaten Volk, but he didn't. So therefore, that would have been a perfect co-main event, dude. That would have been what a lot of people were tuning in for if they would have put Diego versus Yair as the co-main event for Volk versus Movsar, dude. Volk versus really anyone. It doesn't really matter. Just someone that maybe we haven't seen yet, or just someone that's a little bit more deserving, aside from Yair, because he lost like 2 of his last 3, won 1 fight, and all of a sudden, okay, now he gets a title shot. I really hope this fight doesn't happen, and we'll also get into the venue for this here in a little bit as well. But that was my rant, just a little bit, D-Rose. Let me know what you think. What's going on, Rob?
I mean, you said it beautifully, for the most part. I mean, it's just such a head scratcher because I really don't understand how they can try to justify this as just any type of good matchmaking. I just don't, because we saw the first fight. That fight was not competitive at all. And I don't think Yair Rodriguez has really done enough to really earn himself a title shot at this point. I mean, the UFC could have told him when he fought Pitbull, hey, if you win, you fight for the title. But I mean, at this point, I think the obvious is there that, Movsar Evloev should be the guy who should be fighting for the title next. But, they would have put, I guess, for the bigger selling market for the Mexican fans, maybe put him on for Noche. But okay, as you said, you put Marab and Sean O'Malley in the main event last year, so it doesn't really matter about the main event. I would be more content if they were to give Brandon Moreno another shot against Alexander Pantoja, and they did that for UFC Noche. Even though Moreno is down a couple rounds against, or a couple fights against Pantoja, I'd be down for that versus having Yair Rodriguez at this point, fighting Volkanovski, because we've seen Moreno headline before. He's a big star as well, and he's big in that Mexican market. As you said, the Diego Lopez and Yair Rodriguez fight was there to make, and you missed that by a mile, and you end up putting Yair Rodriguez in a title fight after the Pitbull win. I mean, he looked fine in that fight, but nothing in that fight made me say that he was going to have a shot against Volk.
Yeah, I just do something else, man. I cannot believe that they that this is what they're going for right now.
Yeah. I mean, I understand that Evloev is not the bigger name, but I mean, you can make the argument, even though he has been on of course, his fighting style might not be the best or whatever. He has a lot better wins than Yair Rodriguez as well. We're talking Arnold Allen. We're talking Aljamain Sterling. We're talking Diego Lopez. Danny Gay. He's beaten good guys, so it's not like he hasn't beaten good guys on his way to the top, and he's fought everybody that the UFC has basically had him fight up to this point. So I do think that Movsar is deserving, even though that he might not be the most fan friendly in terms of bringing that exciting fight.
Yeah, man. I don't want to stick on this too long. I think everyone kind of agrees that no one really wants to see this fight, and kind of hope they make something
I hope
else.
they listen to that too, man. I
Yeah.
really hope they do.
Yeah. We'll see though. Song Yadong versus Rob Font rebooked, because I know this was originally booked, right, for the Seattle card. Right?
I believe so.
Yeah. Or is Henry Cejudo versus one of these two? I don't know. And it was kind of a huge kind of mix up there. No, because Henry fought Song Yadong. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah,
Anyway.
Henry fought Song, but
Yeah. Anyway, here we go. Song Yadong versus Rob Font is the co-main event, August 23rd for Shanghai Indoor Stadium. So it looks like UFC going to China, August 23rd. Should be a fun one, man. There's a lot of Chinese talent
yeah.
I'm pretty interested in, man.
Where did you say the fight's at?
Shanghai Indoor Stadium in China.
That's interesting. I'm surprised. I mean, I guess I'm not surprised that Rob Font would be taking a fight like that, but at the same time, he seems like a guy who likes to fight in America for the most part. But yeah, I've seen the names on that card coming up, so we'll probably end up talking about him as we're going through this. But hey, that card looks like it's going to be a pretty damn good card, and for some reason, like in my head, like when I saw them two matched up, I was kind of like, did we not see this fight before? But no, I believe they were matched up at one point in time, and the fight fell out, and then that's when Song got booked against Henry. Maybe that's what you were referring to, because I think that's what it was. Because I do remember Song and Font being booked against one another, but hey, they're both heavy boxing for the most part as well, so that's gonna be a fun scrap. And Rob Font, we know how tough he is. He gets hurt a lot, but he doesn't really get finished, so he always ends up coming back and still not giving up on himself, even if he ends up getting hurt a couple times. So, and Song Yadong is always there for a scrap.
Yeah, man. And I guess we can pull this up, because why not? I saw the little clip, but do you believe what Corey Sandhagen said? He said that he's made $2 million on OnlyFans just by showing pictures of his balls.
No, I will say, like, he has made like this funny, like, I don't know what type of turn you can say. I guess this humor turn.
Yeah.
That all of a sudden, like, he just like, I got this like really dry sense of humor, but it's coming out. He's got kind of like the office type vibes with his humor, and I think it's it's one way to try to win over the fans. To if you're not going to be the most charismatic, at least try to be funny, and he's nailing it so far.
Yeah, indeed. All right, I'm gonna put this new feature up on the screen, where I'm just gonna put the
and look, I'll just say this: if he's on there making $2 million for that, I mean, I ain't gonna lie, we're gonna have to, me and Amber gonna have to do some talking. We're gonna have
goodness.
to see, I'm gonna have to do some negotiating, maybe, to see what I can get worked up, man. Because I mean, I might not be able to get $2 million, but I mean, shit, if I can get enough to pay my house off, I mean, shit, I'll be coming.
I don't believe it, man. I don't believe him. Song Yadong isn't that good, and
either,
apparently Song's dong is the only dong that's not that good. Oh my goodness, that's wild. That's wild. How do you guys feel?
Hey,
about...
and it's not and it wouldn't be dick pics, because he said it was only his nutsack. So I mean, I could just we ain't gotta give it all to him. I mean, because then we really gonna be negotiating. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I got you. Antoine, I believe we talked about this last week, man. Good fight, interesting fight. I'll have to think about it more when it comes. But yeah, I kind of agree with Rob. RDR is a problem. He's a big size of the fella at 185. Yeah. But anyway, UFC 321, D Rose. October, probably going to be Abu Dhabi, right? Looks like this is what's being targeted at welterweight. Bilal Muhammad versus Shavkat Rakhmonov. Do I dare ask you who you're on early? Because I think I know, but because of the Ian Gary versus Shavkat Rachmanov fight. But has your opinion changed at all, or yeah, I'll just let you talk.
Well, so I think the thing that can make this fight a little bit different is if there's a chance, and this is all rumored, nothing is official from the UFC just yet, but we're just going off the speculation. If this fight is to happen, 3 rounds could make this fight a little bit different, because I think that could make it to where I think that's where Shavkat could really, he's known to be explosive, and with his strikes and stuff kind of early on, and he's explosive with his takedowns. And I don't think that he's going to have the best of time trying to take Bilal down, but I do think that if he's put the pressure back on Bilal, he's big, he's got size, and I'm definitely going to be up in the air on this one. 3 to 5 rounds, it's definitely going to. I think it's going to be the deciding factor for me if it's going to be between 3 to 5 rounds, but I still think it's going to be a good scrap regardless. So.
Yeah, fair enough. And this is what I was kind of going to ask you. Like what Antoine's saying right here. Do you think on UFC 321, if they do it in Abu Dhabi, we see Jack Della versus Islam for the 170-pound title?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I think that's if I'm Islam, I don't see why he was going to vacate his title if he wasn't getting a title shot. I mean, I think JDM's been pretty. Not outspoken, but pretty understanding that, Islam's probably going to get the title shot next. And Ian Gary even acknowledged, like, hey, if Islam's going to come up and get a title shot, we all got to take a step back and we all got to fight each other. So, yeah, I think without a doubt, Islam is the one who's getting the title shot next.
All right. And did you see this? This is a good fight. UFC 317, man. We got Slava Claus, Vyacheslav Barshov taking on T-Rex, Terrence McKinney, dude. June 28th, UFC 317. Is this International Fight Week?
June 28th, yes, that is. Yeah, that's
Okay.
the Charles and Topuria fight.
Yeah. Oh, man. That's going to be a banger, dude. We got a T-Rex fight. He's going against Slava Claus, man. The thing is, we can usually call a T-Rex fight one way or another, but this one's kind of hard, dude, because I think Slava Claus is for sure the better striker here, but if T-Rex is smart, he'll just go out there, take him down, and do what he does. But Slava Claus is tough, man. He can withstand a beating, dude. So this might be one where we get a round 2, round 3 KO finish for Slava Claus. I'm kind of torn here either way, but I would take the under 2.5 right now if I could find it. What's your thoughts here, man?
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. I think there's a very good chance of that happening, just because Terrence McKinney just has no idea how to reserve his gas tank. Like, he just does not know how to do that. Has just completely not figured that part out yet in his career. But dude, he's always exciting, always fun to watch. But yeah, if he doesn't get the finish early, he gets finished late, or not even late, like maybe even later in the first round, or early on in the second. Like, similar to that, dude. I remember I picked him to beat Drew Dober going into that fight. I was like, yeah, man, dude, Terrence McKinney, he can, he can crack, dude. He was busting
and he
Drew
did
Dober up for the first minute and 10 seconds, and then after that, he was toast. Like, he was done. Like, it's dude. And I know he took that fight on short notice, but yeah, he like only had the tank for like the first couple minutes of the first round, and that's it. So. Yeah, but that should be a banger for as long as it lasts.
Yeah, I agree. Let's see what else we got here. Once again, just a rumor. UFC 320, man. Leon Edwards versus Michael Morales, man. September 13th, UFC Noche, dude. This was another one for that card. Once again, we will talk about the venue here in a few minutes, but what a fantastic fight, dude. I can't wait for Leon Edwards to get crushed. I want him to get crushed. However, this is, I think, a closer fight than what a lot of people are going to think, dude. And I know odds are going to be wide as shit, but they shouldn't be, because Michael Morales is going to give Leon Edwards the fight that he wants, man. He's going to strike with him, and Leon does know how to keep distance. So we'll see here. Fun fight. I'm going Michael Morales just because I don't like Leon Edwards, but could be a tricky fight. What I guess what's your immediate thoughts on the fight? And I guess, do you have an early lean either way?
I mean, I would have to think that with I don't know. I just have a rough time seeing this fight happening, or I just have a tough time seeing this fight happen, if I'm being honest. Um, I mean, I'm with you. If this fight is to happen, I do think that Leon definitely poses some problems. I mean, Michael Morales is good, but you can still see that I think he's done a good job in taking the proper matchups in order to kind of build himself up. He didn't try to do the Macy Barber thing or Raul Rosas to say, "Oh, I'm gonna be the youngest champion in UFC history" and blah blah blah. He's kind of slowly climbed the ladder, slowly built himself, gotten better each fight. You can see that he's still a little bit green, like especially like in a stand-up, like he gets a little bit careless sometimes. So I do think somebody who's a sniper like Leon Edwards could maybe take advantage of that, but I would have to think that Morales would have to lean into his wrestling a little bit more because he will strike, but he does have wrestling as well, and he's got pretty good ground control. He ended up taking Neil Magny down and ground and pounding him within like 2 minutes. So yeah, I would have to imagine that Morales is probably going to get that fight to the ground if he can.
Yeah, I agree. Let's hope Michael Morales wins that fight. Anyway, moving on. Let's see what else we got here. What is this breaking? Okay, yeah. So this is the venue for Guadalajara. I'll just read this to you. Sources suggest that Arena Guadalajara has faced significant construction setbacks leading to the cancellation of events all the way through currently September 4th, which is a week before Noche UFC that's currently planned there. There have been discussions about relocating UFC 320 to the United States, with Las Vegas and T-Mobile Arena mentioned as a possible alternative venue. So basically what's happened right now is this is a new arena that they're building currently in Guadalajara, Mexico, and it's just not done being built yet. Apparently, I was kind of looking into this to see kind of what's going on, but apparently they've already canceled a bunch of Katy Perry concerts there. And I have to be honest, Katy Perry's probably bigger than the UFC. So they're canceling Katy Perry concerts. They're probably have no problem canceling the UFC event there. But it's mostly because it's not done being built yet. How are you going to host something in a place that's not being built yet? And if they canceled events the week before, I don't know how much more building is going to be done a week after. So what's your thoughts on this, D-Rose?
Yeah, it sounds like this thing is going to be a complete cluster at this point. Just as far as, I mean, I know it's not necessarily the UFC's fault because they were thinking that, hey, the stadium is going to be done in enough time. So it does suck on their part that it wasn't necessarily their fault, but it's like, I don't know, maybe it was because I'm not going to say that the Volt versus Yair rumored fight is what like cursed that from happening, but hey, if that's the case, it's going to be back in Vegas this time. You really don't need, you know what I mean? You really don't need a Mexican to headline it anymore. So I think that's, all the more reason to what, Yair shouldn't fight for the title. But yeah, it sucks that it got moved. But yeah, it seems like that whole thing started to turn into a cluster.
Yeah, I agree. And then I'm going to head over to Home of Fight real quick because I know they posted a few fun ones. July 19th, we got Amanda Hebus versus Tabitha Ricci. You have for UFC 318. What's your thoughts on that one, man?
That's a good scrap. And that's the only thing about Hebus, man, is that she just doesn't
keeps going back and forth.
Dude, it's like, and that's the thing. Like, if she stays at 115, dude, I really think that she can be, more legitimate. I think her going up to 125, I just think that she's clearly a lot smaller, and she gets finished more often. Going up a weight class as well, and she's always outsized versus when she's at 115. I mean, going into that fight against Mackenzie Dern, the second one, I did think Mackenzie Dern was going to win that fight, but man, Hebos was a lot bigger than Mackenzie Dern was. So, and she's going to be a lot bigger than Tabitha Ricci. So I think Hebos is going to have, definitely a chance here. But Tabitha Ricci has proven, good takedown defense. She's got good boxing, good kicks. She's very well rounded for the most part, man. She is Baby Shark for a reason. So I think the size difference is going to be it's going to be pretty clear when they line up against one another. But I think that should be a good scrap.
Yeah, I agree. And then let's see, we got a fun one here, man. We got Ikram Aliskerov taking on Bruno the Hulk Ferreira. This is UFC 318, July 19th, man. What's your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, this is the proper matchmaking that Ikram should have had before trying to get launched up to the top against Robert Whittaker, because that was definitely some humble pie he ate. But yeah, I think for Bruno Ferreira, he's very exciting. But I've told you multiple times that, man, I just, for some reason, I see him. I think of him the way you think of Michal Olasheshuk. Like, you always think he's too small for the current weight class. Like, I just look at Bruno Ferreira and I'm like, dude, he could easily fight at 170 and probably be in the top 15.
I think Ikram probably could as well, man. That's the wild part.
But Ikram is tall though. Like he might be kind of doughy, but he's big for the weight class. Like, I mean, we've seen him and Hamzat fight. Like, him and Hamzat like standing next to each other. Like, Hamzat was still bigger, but Ikram's size was definitely, he wasn't that much smaller than Hamzat. So I don't look at Ikram in terms of his frame. I look at Bruno in terms of his frame. Like, he's like 5'9", 5'10". He's got a pretty long reach, but good power. And that fight probably won't last long.
Yeah, I agree. What's your thoughts on future champion Kevin Lee signing with PFL?
Man, where does he fit in all this? Where does Kevin Lee fit in all this?
No clue, dude.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of cool because I know I guess for PFL, it's the $500,000 tournament now instead of the $1 million tournament. But I know that, he's filling in, I guess, on a little bit of a short notice, but he's getting a chance here to be able to come in and, try to jump into the tournament and maybe, hit a little jackpot at the end of it. So that'd be pretty dope for him. I've been a fan of Kevin Lee for a little bit, and, I hated to see the way that his career sort of ended. He just wasn't able to stay focused and stay down in lightweight. And but yeah, I think, him wanting to return down to lightweight now, it's his best weight class to have a chance to really be successful. And I just think he needs to take it a little bit more serious. And I think he can. And what is he, 31, 32? He might have a chance to win this thing.
Yeah. What's your thoughts on the whole BJ Penn thing that's been going on, dude? Like, BJ Penn's Instagram is just like him comparing his family members' teeth and ears to old pictures of them. It's like, BJ, like, people's features, they change over, like, people get older and their ears grow, and like, people get like liver spots, like, people's teeth get knocked out, like, it's like, I feel bad for him, but I know it's the drugs, man. There's no way that it's not, right? Like,
yeah. Yeah, there's definitely something, influencing that, and I'm with you. We're only speculating here, and we don't have any knowledge on anything, but that does lead to that's behavior of people who I've seen do drugs do. That's the type of behavior that he's displaying right now, and that it's unfortunate to see one of the all-time greats just kind of spiral out the way he is, man, and it's been rough for him for the last few years. But especially as of late.
Yeah. And then the last two, man, we were talking about him a few weeks ago. We were talking about Tim Elliott, and we're like, didn't he retire? We're like, oh, no, we hadn't seen him in a while. He should come back up at 135 and fight somebody. I don't even remember who it was.
I think I said Nakamura.
There we go, dude. Close enough. We've got Kai Asakura, but it's not at 135. It's at 125. Also going to be UFC 319, August 16th. What's your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I think it's the it's the proper fight for Kai Sakura. Especially him coming into the UFC and getting a title shot right away. I mean, I think it's hilarious that they, now he's ranked 15 after coming in and getting the title shot and losing. But I mean, obviously, flyweight. I know it's not the deepest division right now, so they're just trying to just give him some type of ranking. But yeah, I think it could be a good bounce back fight for him because Tim Elliott, he's gritty, but at this point, he's older. His striking isn't the best, and sometimes he is willing. If you got him in a good submission, he is willing to tap. So I think it's a good matchup for Kaiser.
Yeah, I agree. And then we saw this yesterday, dude. I think it was yesterday, 2 days ago. Tom Aspinall, Fight News, and then it was this, which was today. So me and you got all excited. We're like, hot damn, we're going to have this fight finally going to be announced. It's finally going to be announced. And dude, if it isn't Tom Aspinall starting his own fucking clothing brand, no one gives a shit, man. Damn it, dude. I was so pissed off, but I was like, does it surprise me at all? No, not even one bit, because John Jones did the same thing, I think, last year with some kind of insurance company. It's like, man, fuck off.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And I as you said, it's not too surprised at this point. I was more. I saw the thing with Tom Aspinall. I was kind of thinking that it was going to be something like that. I was more interested in, I think one of the headlines that said that Dana White was going to be live on IG tonight as well. So yeah, there was something I saw where Dana said that they said that Dana's going to be live tonight, and that's why I was like, man, there's probably going to be a good chance that Dana's going to end up being live after we end up doing the podcast. So hopefully not, but yeah, and for Tom and John, man, at this point, I'm not surprised. I'm pretty sure that I don't know. I mean, we saw the thing from Gordon Ryan. Did you see that post as well, where he was talking about John Jones, and it was basically like someone had screenshotted the IG post, and he basically made reference to saying that he was getting John Jones prepared for his retirement fight in his last fight. So basically stating that, yeah, there's a very good chance that John Jones is retired already. Yeah. So, and we're sitting here kind of waiting up on him now to maybe take this Tom Aspinall fight. When, if I'm being honest, man, I don't think he's going to. And I'm one that actually criticizes John Jones a lot. I can actually understand how he doesn't want to take the Tom fight, just because it's like, hey, I mean, there's always going to be somebody. There's always going to be somebody, and I understand that. But it's like, dude, if that's the case, then just step away. Like, you don't have to hold everybody up. So that's what makes me wonder if it's just a UFC at this point, basically just hanging on to John Jones' ankle. Like, dude, please take this fight. Yeah. Please take this fight. And he's just not budging.
Yeah, I didn't see anything on the UFC page or on Dana White's page yet, so I don't think he's went live yet. So he's probably gonna, probably one of our current 18 viewers. He's, hey Dana, can you just go live before we get off here so we can talk about the news? But we understand it, man. We understand it. Let's get into some of the chat. I apologize, you guys. I'm just gonna probably click in here. Somewhere fun. All right. At 31, can Kai climb the rankings and challenge for a belt? I don't think at 125. I think Pantosha's just too good. We got Antoine. It's going to be so funny when John smokes him. And I don't think the fight happens, man. We got Derek Jufre with the 199 super sticker. Appreciate it, brother. Really helping out the channel. Help me keep the lights on over here. Lush agrees with the point that D Rose made. Jones is the guy that will win again. I just don't think the fight happens. We got Derek saying what's up to Lush. I don't know why everyone cares so much. Like the heavyweight division is such a, yeah, I mean, it's pretty bad. Tom's going to have the belt after anyway.
Jailton Almeida.
Yeah, I mean,
he's like the only guy that has like any glimmer of a chance against Tom. like in the current
Yeah.
crop of heavyweights.
And I don't
Because
even think
the heavyweight division is bad right now. Like, it's very bad.
Yeah, I don't even think he has a chance to beat Tom. Man, what's going on, Skunks? How you doing, brother? 100% negotiation tactic for the next streaming deal. It could be, but that makes me. Well, that means that it has to be next year, like already. Like we're gonna wait another year already. Like, bro, like I feel like most people at this point are like, yeah, I don't care anymore. Let's just move on. Like that's how I am. Like, dude, I don't need to see John fight Tom. I don't. I like for what?
Well, and the thing is, as well, it's like the thing I don't understand is that we have all these interim, the interim belt and the undisputed champ. You're making Ilya Taporia vacate his title before he
I
moves
feel
up.
you, Dave.
You're making Islam Makhachev vacate his lightweight title before moving up to fight at welterweight. Well, like, why are these other champs having to vacate their title and Tom Aspinall still be the interim champ? Like, I still think you can make Tom Aspinall the undisputed champ. He goes on and keeps fighting, and then after that, you can bring John Jones back still after the fact, and it would still be a big fight. Like, John doesn't have to be the champion to fight in a championship fight. I mean, he did that with in like
OSP.
heavyweight multiple times with
OSP,
DC and
when he came back.
OSP, and him coming back off the suspensions and stuff like that. And he wasn't the champ, but it was still a big fight when he came back. Like, I just don't understand why they can't just make Tom undisputed, have him continue to fight, and then whenever John, or if John is going to take the fight, just give it to him then. But you can still keep Tom Aspinall active because he's potentially one of your biggest stars right now, and you just have him sitting on the sideline doing nothing. And then it's just it's annoying for people who like to watch him because he's in the octagon for 2 minutes at a time, and we haven't seen him in about a year at this point, so it's just been tough.
You know where UFC fucked up? When they waited on John to fight Stipe after he fucked up his shoulder, dude. They should have just moved on, had Tom fight Stipe. That's the interim fight now, and now interim versus champion. Either fight him or don't retire, John. But they fucked up. They put everything on hold. They waited for Stipe John, and then now everything's on hold again because of that fucking situation, dude. It's just
and for the interim belt, I understood why they did it at that time, but as you said, it shouldn't have been anything more than Stipe. Hey, the only reason why Stipe came back because obviously he was getting a gigantic payday to fight one of the biggest, the biggest star, or one of the biggest stars, but the best fighter in terms of record and title fights and all that ever. So that's going to be a big opportunity for Stipe. He's not going to come back and fight Tom Aspinall, in my opinion. So I think at that point, and Stipe, it's not like anybody was like, man, I'd really love to see Stipe come back and get one more in. Like nobody was asking that. Like he got snoozed and sniped by Francis in his last fight, and he was fine with that. Like he didn't want to come back. So it was like all they wanted to do was bend to John's will, and I understand wanting to keep him happy, but at the same time, you got one of your biggest stars right now sitting on the sideline doing absolutely nothing when the prime of his career is getting wasted right now.
Yeah, thankfully he's a heavyweight and it lasts quite a bit, dude. But yeah, just
but dude, based on that time, dude, he could have had 2 fights already. Like,
dude,
like no BS.
He's
like,
crushing fools in the first round. He could have fought the entire division. He could have gave the entire division a title shot already. And crushed all of them.
Because I mean, when was the Blades fight? July? Was it last July? I believe.
It was something around there. Yeah.
Yeah, last July, last August, somewhere around there. But we're talking about 10 months or longer for again a guy who in his last couple fights he was only in there for a few minutes. A minute, a minute and a half, 2 minutes. 30
first
seconds. And, all in the first round, man. This is a guy who could have been, So I thought it was in July. So yeah, we're talking 10 months now. Without a fight, he could have had 2, 3 easily.
Yeah. It's just odd to see, man. So let me get this written down for our pick for this weekend because that's what we got coming up. So let me get our banner changed. We will be jumping into our UFC Vegas 107, Aaron Blanchfield versus Macy Barber. Our preview and our picks for the fights this upcoming weekend. Let me open this in a new tab. Come on, just load for me. I'm not signed in, man, so I don't get to do my picks right now. I'll have to do them later. It is what it is.
I will. I have my password saved on here, so typically,
yeah,
whenever
I have to log in every single time on my computer now because I usually have it on my phone. But yeah, anyway. So let me share my screen.
I'm actually signed in already.
Look at D-Rose go. Already signed in. Just ready this week. Come on, you thing. We got Antoine saying, yeah, but John's super active, and that's why he's not tripping right now. I just don't. My thing is he's playing this game, and he knows what he's doing. He's just holding everything up. Dude, it's like, if you're not going to fight, then just retire. It's like he's trying to hold out for the longest possible. Like, it's like he's like a fucking Money in the Bank title holder, just like fucking waiting, like fucking Tom's gonna have like a fucking broken knee, and he's like, all right, Tom, come get this title now. Like, he's gonna be like, bro, I just tore my ACL. He's like, well, you missed your shot. See ya.
Too bad,
Like,
buddy.
Yeah, it's just gonna be. I just don't know. It just seems like he just doesn't want it. So why are we pretending that it's going to happen? Yeah. Anyway, present. Come on, you thing. Share screen. There we go. Now we cooking. All right. So this weekend in Las Vegas, Nevada, taking place at the UFC Apex, obviously in Las Vegas, we got 11 fights. Prelims are going to. God damn, dude. We got an Apex card this weekend, D-Rose, and the prelims start at 6:30. Why do they do that to us? So it's going to be about
that is an
midnight.
early start.
That's not an early start for an Apex card. They usually start at 4.
You said what was it? I guess 6:30. I mean, that's not terrible because what is it?
For an Apex
fights?
Card? Yeah.
I mean, it might not be. It might not. It might go a little bit quicker.
I don't know. Hopefully. Anyway, we got 11 fights taking place at the UFC Apex. We've got Blanchfield versus Barber. That's probably the worst poster I've ever seen, dude. Like, can you think of a worse poster than this one, dude? That is fucking awful.
Yeah, the way they did the names on that is, I don't get what they were doing. Like, I 100% don't. Like, that just looks
what
yeah,
a card.
Man, that's terrible. Hey, I will say, like, maybe the headliner isn't the most exciting for people.
Blanchfield versus Barber.
Yeah. Hey, nah. Well, both their names are crazy on this, especially Aaron Blanchfield, though. Like, like Macy's does look dumb too, but Blanchfield.
Blanchfield.
Barber. Like, yeah, that's absolutely ridiculous. But I mean, I still think, you know what, for an Apex card, looking at it, man, I'll say like a C. Man, I want to say a C plus, but because there's a couple fights on here right now. There's a couple fights that fell off too, but I think just in terms of excitement, well, not excitement, quick finishes. I think there's going to be a lot of fights on here that's going to result in some pretty big finishes, and I think there's a couple good scraps that you're going to see on here as well.
All right. So with that being said, let's get into the card. Main event is Aaron Cold-Blooded Blanchfield taking on Macy, the future Barber. Co-main event is Matus Gamer Gamrot taking on Ludovic Mr. Highlight Klein. We've got Ramiz Brahimaj taking on Billy Ray Goff. We've got Dustin the Hanyak Jacoby taking on Bruno Lopez. We've got Caitlin Vieira taking on Macy Chasson. We've got Zach Reese taking on Dusko Todorovic this is my main event of the night right here. I cannot wait for this fight. We've got Alan Nascimento taking on Jafel Filo. We've got the Monkey King making his return. Jordan Levitt taking on Kurt Hollaball. We've got Andreas Gustafsson taking on Officer Trevin Giles. We've got Balaji Oki taking on Michael Answell. And then the opening fight of the night, we have Hayani Amanda Dos Santos taking on Alice Ardelian. I believe that's how you say it. Fights that fell off were Oban Elliott and Ramiz Brahimaj, and Si Young Ko taking on Billy Ray Goff. Those two are fighting each other now. And Oban Elliott is going to be fighting Ko in a couple weeks as well. Andreas Gustafsson was going to be fighting Jeremiah Wells. That was going to be a banger. And Markel Medeiros was going to be fighting Balaji Oki. Now Balaji Oki is going to be fighting Michael Hanswell. So, D-Rose, first fight of the night, we have Hayani Amanda Dos Santos taking on Alice Ardelian. We've got a banger to start off, huh?
I mean, this might be the one that I think everybody is probably the most excited for. I mean, let's be honest here. Hey, Dave is here to tell us all about Alice Ardelian's habits.
PBF kick her off. Anyway, so with that being said, get off the screen. Pet prescriptions. Jesus. Anyway, first fight of the night, we've got Hayani Amanda Dos Santos taking on Alice Ardelian. Dos Santos is 14-8 overall. Out of her last 5 fights, she has won 3 of them, lost 2 of them, but I don't think any of them have been in the UFC. Yeah, she's lost 2 in the UFC, split decision loss against Talitha Alencar. But this one, though, D-Rose, the split decision loss to Pooja Tamar, I believe that she won that fight. I don't think Pooja Tamar won that fight, even in the slightest. But anyway, she is 29 years old, 5'2" and a 62-inch reach, while Alice Ardelian is a TikTok star, if you will. She's got a few million followers on there. She is 9-7 overall. But in the UFC, she has a split decision loss to Shauna Bannon, and then a unanimous decision loss to Super Melissa Martinez. She is 33 years old, 5'3" and a 62-inch reach. So both these girls are 0-2 in their UFC debut, D-Rose. Yeah, man. I should bring up the odds, right? Currently, I know that Hayani Amanda was the favorite. I don't know if she still is the favorite. Let's see. I hate logging in. Come on, you thing.
Yeah, I mean, I would have to say that's the case because.
All right. Anyway,
I mean,
here we go.
Amanda Santos is a pretty big favorite.
Yeah, currently odds for this fight -265. Hayani Dos Santos and Alice Ardelian is +215. The dog over under here is 2.5. The over 2.5 is -475. The under 2.5 is +325. Yeah, D Rose. There's a lot of words there to talk about that fight. For me to say, I think Alice Ardelian's the more physical girl of the two here. Hayani Amanda's probably the better, more technical striker of the two, and she's for sure got the better ground game, but she don't shoot takedowns, and her wrestling seems to be kind of ass. And Alice Ardelian just kind of seems to be a dog, and she's pretty physical when it comes to, holding these chicks up against the cage and all that. So I think I'm going to ride with the dog here. Give me Alice Ardelian to win this fight via decision. How about you, man?
Yeah, you definitely broke down the fight in more depth than what I imagined you would. But yeah, I mean, for me, I just don't think that Alice Ardelian. I don't know if she's really done enough, to kind of impress me.
No,
she's to lose to Shauna Bannon, man, that's just like, for me. I mean, that's already like That's a big no, man. I mean, Shauna Bannon's okay, but like, dude, I just do not think she's great at all. I
But
know
if
it's a
you
split
do the
decision,
MMA math, Hayani Amanda lost to Pooja Tamara, which lost to Shauna Bannon.
yeah, but I mean, Pooja Tamar. I mean, hey, I picked Pooja Tamar to beat Shauna Bannon, and she rocked her with a head kick. She ended up, walking into getting taken down, and but Pooja Tamar was lumping her up. So let's say that. But I'm going to go with Rayani Dos Santos. I'm not going to act like I'm the most confident in this fight, but I do think that Ardeline. I just think if she doesn't really have the takedown, she just doesn't have too much else to offer. And I think Dos Santos can at least get some strikes off. So let's go Rihanna Dos Santos here, and let's go by decision.
Man, looks like we are split on the first fight of the night. But who knows who's going to win this? If I'm going to be honest, my thing is basically Hayani Amanda is 0-2 in the UFC, and she's a minus basically 300 favorite right now. At most, this should be a coin flip. So I'll take the plus 215, dog. I'll take the plus 215. Dave says, confirmed, says Dave. Oh my goodness. All right. So
that's what I was waiting on.
Yeah. Anyway, so let's move on to the next fight of the night, where we have Balaji Oki taking on Michael Answell. The Zulu Warrior, Balaji Oki, is 9-2 overall, 29 years old, 5'10", and a 73-inch reach, while Michael Answell, UFC newcomer, the Texas Kid, if you will, is 10-2 overall, 24 years old, 5'8", and a 69-inch reach. Yeah, man, Balaji Oki is this big, powerful guy from Belgium. I don't know if that's where he's actually, from, but that is where he's fighting out of. He did get choked out by Chris Duncan, but he was rocking Chris Duncan, dude. For some reason, shot in for a takedown, and then Chris Duncan did not be silly. He jumped the ghillie, and he put Balaji Oki out, dude. It was almost like Balaji Oki didn't know how to tap. He did beat Timmy Kwamba via split decision, and then he knocked out Dylan Salvador on the Contender Series. He is 29 years old, 5'10", 73-inch reach. Michael Answell fought 5 months ago for Fury FC, 24, 5'8", 69-inch reach, dude. I just think maybe just a little bit too much, dude, because Balaji Oki is this animal, dude, and I could see him losing to people, currently in the UFC, but against the UFC newcomer, I gotta go Balaji Oki here. Currently odds for the fight minus 360 Balaji Oki, and Michael Answell plus 285 the dog. Give me Balaji Oki. Let's go to win the fight by second round knockout. What about you, D-Rose?
Yeah, this is one that man, because he was supposed to fight Marco Medeiros originally, right?
Balaji Oki, yeah.
Balaji Oki was, because I was actually pretty high on Marco Medeiros going into that fight too. But I just wasn't really able to do too much looking into on Michael as well. I know Balaji Oki. I know he, explosive. He's got good power in his hands. Think he could be a little bit of a front runner from time to time. I think, kind of similar to how, he was with Chris Duncan. You heard him at first, but, as you said, once he had hit a little bit of adversity, it was like he was kind of like a fish out of water. I think, I know Aswell is coming off the loss on the Contender Series, but, I know he looked okay in that fight, but coming in on short notice against Balaji Oki, I think it's going to be a tough task. So let's go Balaji Oki. Let's go first round knockout.
All right. Looks like me and D-Rose are both on Balaji Oki knockout. I say second round. D-Rose says first round. So moving on to the next one. We've got, should be a fun one, dude. We've got Andreas Bain Gustafsson taking on, I know it says the problem, but his name is Officer Trevin Giles because he is a police officer, and we respect our police officers over here. We call him by his name, Officer Trevin Giles. Anyway, Andreas Gustafsson is 11-2 overall out of his last 5 fights. 4 wins, 1 loss. He won on the Contender Series against Pat Pitlick. But if I have to be honest, that guy shouldn't have been in there. Anyway, he is 34 years old, 6 foot, and a 74-inch reach, while Officer Trevin Giles, 16-7 overall out of his last 5 fights. He has won 2 and lost 3. Decision win against Louis Cosi, which shouldn't have lasted that long. Split decision win against Preston Parsons. Got smoked by Gabriel Bonfim, first-round submission. Carlos Prates knocked him out in the 3rd round, and then Mike Malott beat him via decision. Trevin Giles, 32 years old, 6 foot, and a 74-inch reach. Man, Trevin Giles is a good fighter, dude. He's good at keeping range. He's got a good jab on him. Solid leg kicks, solid teep kicks. But man, dude, does he fucking get hit. And when he gets hit, he goes down, dude. So that being said, Trevin Giles is probably going to be winning every part of this fight until he gets fisted by Andreas Gustafsson. So give me Andreas Gustafsson to win this fight. Let's go first round knockout, D-Rose. What about you, man? I'm sorry. Let me tell you the odds for the fight. Trevin Giles plus 142, Andreas Gustafsson minus 170. Over under here is 2.5. Over 2.5 plus 114. The under 2.5 is minus 145.
Yeah, I think for this one, we seen Gustafsson come into the UFC Contender Series as well, and he looked good, but like you said, that's actually hilarious because Cedrico's isn't good, so I would personally favor Trevin Giles to beat up Cedrico Dumont in my opinion, but as you said, Trevin Giles, good jab. He's got good overhand. He's pretty well rounded on the feet for the most part. He's got good power. He's fast. Man, his biggest thing for me too in his last couple fights, he's just been a lot more hesitant. Especially in that Mike Malott fight. I just thought him and Mike Malott just kind of did a lot of just staring and taking pictures, the whole time versus. I don't think there was enough action from either or. I think that fight was a split decision. That fight was just not a good fight at all. I just think you've seen a hesitant Trevin Giles, not really super confident in what he's throwing and stuff like that anymore. And I think Gustafsson, coming in, making his UFC debut, him making it known that he is not related to Alexander Gustafsson. He said that, stop asking him that. Gustafsson is a common surname in their country in Sweden, and over from where they're from, and they absolutely are not related. So he wanted us to know that. But I'm going to Gustafsson. I'm going to actually go by decision here. I don't think Trevin Giles goes away easy. I think he plays a lot of defense here in this fight. So I think he makes it a little bit tougher for Gustafsson, but I think Gustafsson lands some big shots. And I think he just lands the more significant strikes and gets the job done that way.
No, all right. Me and D-Rose both on Andreas Gustafsson. Almost said Alexander Gustafsson.
But because he is not related. He is not related, and don't get it twisted. They're not.
Is not related. All right. Up next, we've got the Monkey King, Jordan Levitt, taking on Kurt the Hurt Hollowball. Jordan Levitt, 11-3 overall out of his last 5 fights. He is 3 wins, 2 losses. Lost a year and a half ago to Chase Hooper via submission, dude. So we hadn't seen the Monkey King in about 18 months. He did beat Victor Martinez. No, dude, I cannot believe he smoked Victor Martinez like that. Anyway, he did lose the Paddy Pimblett 2 years ago. Trey Ogden split decision win, and Matt Sales pretty much. Oh yeah, that was the one where he inverted triangle. He was like setting like on the back of his head. It looked weird. Anyway, Jordan Levitt, 29 years old, 5'9" and a 71-inch reach, while Kurt the Hurt Hollowball is 21-9 overall. Of his last 5 fights, 3 wins, 2 losses. Lost to Alexander Hernandez 2 months ago. he did beat Kynan Kurchetsky 10 months ago. Lost to Trey Ogden a year and a half ago. Austin Hubbard win a year and 9 months ago, and then before the UFC. Kurt Hallball's 38 years old, 5'11", and a 70-inch reach. D-Rose, how about this? I'm going to pass this one to you, and I'm going to let you break this one down, man. Let me tell you the odds real quick first, though. Odds for the fight are Kurt Hallball plus 180, the dog, and Jordan Levitt minus 218, the favorite. Over-unders 2.5, the over 2.5, minus 160. The under 2.5 is plus 124. All right, man. Well, what you got?
Man, I'm just smiling because you had said that. Man, it was just crazy how Jordan Levitt crushed Victor Martinez. And just thinking back to that fight, like, dude, like Jordan,
he took him back, Ty clinched him, and like Anderson Silva need him to death. Dude, like Jordan the Spider Silva.
Yeah, dude, like, yeah, he went absolutely off at that fight, dude. Absolutely crushed Martinez like he was a soda can, dude. Like that, it was crazy. I mean, Kurt Hallball, like he's very tough. I mean, he's pretty well rounded, obviously well experienced. A couple stints in the UFC now. Coming off the Ultimate Fighter, and now him. He's been a little bit up and down as you see, but he's always been in a fun fight. I think this fight can look similar to how the Trey Ogden fight looked, because I think Trey Ogden, he had a little bit of a tough time keeping Hallball off of him too, because Hallball is going to come with the pressure. He's got pretty good striking, and he's going to use his wrestling as well. I think Jordan Levitt, once the grappling exchanges start, I think that's where he, shines the most. His hands obviously aren't the best, but once he gets his hands locked in, he's good with pulling guard. As he did to Matt Wyman, he'll pick you up and slam you. He'll do what it takes to get it down to the ground, and I think that's where he can dominate the fight. So I'm going to go Jordan Levitt here. I think he gets it done with his wrestling. I think Kurt Hallball is going to be too tough to finish, but I think Jordan Levitt gets it done by decision.
Does he shake his ass after, or no?
I would not be surprised. Like I'm honestly anticipating.
All right. I don't disagree with you too much, D Rose. My thing is Kurt Hallball is for sure the better striker here. He's going to put pressure on Jordan Levitt, as you said, and you said that Jordan Levitt will do what he can to take it to the ground. Kurt Hallball is also a very high-level black belt as well, and I know Jordan Levitt relies heavily on his submission game, and he will play off his back. And I'm thinking, dude, that Jordan Levitt just gets taken down and plays off his back all 3 rounds, and then we get a Kurt Hallball decision win, dude. I think, once again, I'm on the dog. Give me Kurt Hallball to win this fight via decision, man. I think he's a better striker, puts the pressure on, and he can do damage on top while Jordan Levitt's trying to hump him from the bottom.
Yeah. Well, and as Antoine said, it is funny that people do say that about him, but and I've said the same thing. I'm like, hey, hey, if you play for the same team, hey, I don't have a judgment for you.
He might eat corn the long way, but that's his decision.
Yeah, exactly. So hey, you do that, cool. But yeah, he does that. He does have a whole ass family. So hey, whether people think they're decoys or not.
Decoys. Oh, that's a funny word for that. Decoy. Anyway, I'm with Dave. I'm going Kurt via decision. Anyway, so second one, me and D-Rose split on. Moving on to the next one, we have Alan. I'm not going to try to say that. Nascimento taking on Jafel Pastor Filho. Alan Nascimento, 20-6 overall. Out of his last 5 fights, he has 3 wins and 2 losses. We haven't seen him in a little bit, though. 2 years and 4 months ago, he last submitted Carlos Hernandez. 3 years ago, he beat Jake Hadley via decision, lost to Tigeri Ulanbekov via split decision. Did beat whoever Elvano Lima is, and then had a split decision loss to Halion Paiva on the Contender Series. He is 33 years old, 5'8", and a 69-inch reach. Fights out of Shoot to Box Diego Lima, so you know how he fights. Front kicks, heavy Muay Thai style, forward. so on and so forth. As where Jafel Pastor-Filo been a little bit more active. We know who he is. He came in against Muhammad Makayev, gave Muhammad Makayev a run for his money, almost took his leg home with him, and then did submit Daniel Barres, and then submitted Ode Osborne a year and 2 months ago now. Jafel Filo is 32 years old, 5'7", and a 68-inch reach. D-Rose fights out of Novo and Yao. So we have basically a Brazilian team clash up here. Novo and Yao taking on Diego Lima Shootbox. Yeah, man.
Oh, they're at the
fight
same
for
gym?
me to. No. So Jafel Filo fights out of the same gym that Jose Aldo fights out of, and Alan Nascimento fights out of Shootbox Diego Lima Charles Oliveira gym. So a little bit different.
I misheard you, but I was like, oh shit, I didn't realize they fought at the same. Okay, I misheard you.
Yeah. Jafel Filo has been a lot more active, and I feel like that matters, dude. And that's basically the only reason why I'm going to be picking him here. Currently, odds for the fight, though, are Jafel Filo plus 130, the dog, Alan Nascimento minus 155. The favorite over-under is 2.5. Over 2.5 minus 160. The under 2.5 is plus 124. Yeah, man. I think both of these guys aren't the best strikers in the world, so both of them are going to be willing to play on the ground, and I'm more familiar with Jafel Filo. He's been more active. What has Alan Nascimento been doing the past 2.5 years, really? So I don't know, man. I'm going to go Jafel Filo, 125 fight, so don't feel too great about it either way. Probably not going to be betting too much on this one, if at all, but give me Jafel Filo to win this fight via decision. How about you, man?
Yeah, I'm not the most confident in this. I will say I do have the winner that I decided to go with in a little parlay. So I did it, and then I was like, man, I've already placed a bet, so I might as well just rock with it now. So yeah, I think the way this one matches up for me, I am a little, as you said, a little concerned with Alan Nascimento coming in with a 2-year layoff. And Jafel Filo, he's looked good, in his UFC fights, against, obviously against Muhammad Makayev. He's had a few submission wins since then, but when he had fought, I'm having to go back and look at it. I think of Daniel Barres, when he fought him, he did get rocked early on in that fight. So that was a little bit concerning. And I do think that, last time I seen Nascimento, I'm not going to say that he was the best striker, but he does have some pretty good striking. And I do think that, obviously he's very good at jiu-jitsu as well. So I think that he can defend off a lot of what Fio can bring. And I think Jafel Filo's best chance is really to get it to the ground, where I think Alan Nascimento can win it both ways, on the feet and on the ground. And I think he's going to be the stronger guy for the most part. So give me Alan Nascimento. Give me him by decision.
All right. So we are split for the third time of the night on Alan Nascimento and Jafel Filo. So we'll move on to the next fight, which is my main event of the night. I cannot wait for this fight, D-Rose. I was talking to you about this fight this past weekend when I came to see you, dude. I was already ready for it. I was already ready to talk about this fight. We have Zachary Savage Reese taking on Dusko Thunder Todorovic. Look at the neck on that guy, dude. You can't tuck your chin when your neck is that long. You just can't. Oh, man. And does he bring the thunder? Indeed. So let's get into it. Zachary Savage Reese, 8-2 overall out of his last 5 fights. He has 3 wins and 2 losses. It should be 8 wins and 3 losses with the fucking referee and another L here, because the referee fucking power bombed him on the ground and knocked him out again. But anyway, after Asamat Bekoev knocked him out, then the ref fucking body slammed his head on the ground, knocked him out again.
He came in with an Undertaker clothesline, and just completely took Zachary's out. That shit was crazy.
He did beat Jose Medina via decision, and
Are you talking about the
that's
ref?
the guy.
Are
No,
you talking about the
Zachary
ref
Reese.
that beat him? No,
No, no. Fucking Zachary Reese did beat Jose Medina by decision, and if you don't know who Jose Medina is, that's the guy that's just fat and just walks forward and gets punched and just waves. Like he just now fought the African dude, and he's waving on the ground after he got knocked out. He's like, "Come on!" He got knocked out mid wave and was still waving on the ground. Didn't make any sense. Anyway, he did knock out Julian Marquez, which is not surprising at this point. He did lose to Cody Brundage, which also is not surprising, even in the slightest. And then that was on the Contender Series. He won via armbar. Zachary Reese is from Shiner, Texas, 31 years old, 6'4", and a 77-inch reach, while Dusko Thunder Todorovic, 12-5 overall out of his last 5 fights. He is 2 wins and 3 losses, a win over Maki Pitolo, lost to Chidi, well, that's not Kennedy, that's Chidi and Joe Kawani. He did beat Jordan Wright, which is, nothing to laugh at. That means that he can survive at least the first round. He did lose to Christian Leroy Duncan, but it was a knee injury in the first round. And Mansour Abdul Malik also was a kind of a weird one too. I don't think he went like out cold or anything. Whereas when Zach Reese loses, Zach Reese is snoozing for at least a few minutes after he loses the fight. And it's in the middle of the octagon. It's not later on. It's right there in the middle of the octagon, just taking a little nap. Anyway, Dusko is 31 years old, 6'1", and a 74-inch reach. Wow. Talked a lot about this fight already without even saying anything. Yeah, my main event, and it's mostly because I like the under here like none other. The over-under here, D-Rose, is 1.5. The over 1.5 is plus 140. The under 1.5 is minus 180. Give me the under all day here. Odds for the fight, plus 190 Dusko, and Zach Reese is minus 230, your favorite, dude. I don't know how Zach Reese can be a minus 230 favorite against anyone that has any ability to finish any fight ever. And truly, the way this fight goes is like, the way Zachary Reese fights is he comes out and fucking throws hell. He just comes out, rushes the guy, and tries to knock him out. And, Dusko gets hit, and he has a bad chin, so he can easily go out there. However, sometimes there's these fights where, if Jason Herzog is fucking in there, dude, this is going to the second round. And as soon as this goes to the second round, dude, Zach Reese is that gas tank is going to be severely diminished if it even gets there. And Zach Reese likes to play off his back, dude. We've seen him go for a few arm bars here and there, and Dusko has decent wrestling, very legit jiu-jitsu, but what I personally like is his ground and pound top control, dude. He will get on top, and he will pound the shit out of you, dude. And I think I'm going to take another dog shot here, dude, this week. I'm going to go Dusko Todorovic to get a round 2 ground and pound knockout over Zachary the Savage Reese. Still taking the under 1.5. It's going to be early round 2 knockout. Which way are you going here, man?
Yeah, this one for me, I mean, I'm with you in terms of, man, Zachary Reese shouldn't be that big of a betting favorite against anybody because I just don't think that he's that great, in my opinion. I mean, he makes a lot of boneheaded decisions in some of his fights, and I think, like for the Cody Brundage fight, he kept going for that arm bar, and then Cody Brundage just made him pay for it by slamming him, and yeah, in the last fight against Bakoyev, I guess I can't say too much. He just ended up getting rocked by Bakoyev, and maybe Bakoyev is a real dude. Who knows? You even said the same thing, like, after his last fight, like, hey, maybe we should start taking Bakoyev a little more serious. So I'm going to give Zachary Reese a pass on that, where I just think Todorovic, anybody who has any semblance of decent striking and they land on him, he falls over. He crumbles. He can't help it. His last win was against Jordan Wright, who we know Jordan Wright,
the Beverly Hills Ninja,
the best. Yes, he is the best at getting finished, and for in the.
But
UFC
he can also
I've
finish
seen,
too, dude. He's also he's like a glass cannon. Like he'll take someone out in the first round, but he'll also get finished in the first round too.
Yes, but more often than not, he was getting taken out in the first round. More often than not.
Yeah.
So I'm not super impressed with Todorovic getting that win over Jordan Wright. I'm going to go Zach Reese here, and I'm going to go first round knockout.
All right. All right. I'm on Dusko Todorovic D Rose on Zach Reese. I told you before we started this podcast earlier, I was like, I'm on so many dogs this weekend. It's not even funny. Like it's like every fight I'm on dog. Does it change here though? Does it change here? Let's see.
Yeah, I mean, I see you are on the dogs. I mean, I know there's like a couple of them that I'd seen, but man, you're really on them.
Yep. All right. So second fight on the main card. So it opens up Zach Reese, Dusko Todorovic, as it should. Fantastic fight to open up the card. Second fight on the main card is Ketlin Phenomeno Vieira taking on Macy Chasson. Or Justin Bieber. That looks like Justin Bieber. That early Biebs.
The early, yeah, not recent Biebs, because of the recent Biebs is going not quite full Cullen McCulkin, but damn near. So yeah, that's definitely the teen Bieber.
Anyway, with that being said, Ketlin Vieira 14-4 overall. Out of her last 5 fights, she has 3 wins and 2 losses. Last loss was the Kayla Harrison 7 months ago, where she kind of showed that Kayla Harrison ain't all that, to be honest. She did beat Pandy Kianzad a year ago, did lose to Raquel Pennington via split decision 2 years ago. Holly Holmes split decision win, and Amisha Tate unanimous decision win 3 years ago. Ketlin Vieira is 33 years old, 5'8", and a 68-inch reach, while Macy Chasson is 10-3 overall. Out of her last 5 fights, she is 3 wins and 2 losses, but could be 4 wins and 1 loss because this Irene Aldana up kick to the liver. She was winning that fight, dude, until that happened, dude. And this one, dude, Norma Dumont split decision win, dude. Norma's good, man. Norma's good. And then she did lose to Raquel Pennington 3 years ago via her rear naked choke. Anyway, Macy Chasson is 33 years old, 5'11", and a 72-inch reach, dude. Me and Macy Chasson are basically the same size human, man. It's a big girl. And with that being said, I believe she just does more, dude. Ketlin Vieira is going to walk forward and just not do anything, man. She's so frustrating to watch Ketlin Vieira fight because she's never going to do anything to advance the fight forward in her position. She's just in there to not get finished. As her Macy Chasson's kind of going to style on a lot of these girls with how big and like long she is. She's going to touch them. She can even go for a takedown. She's got some pretty solid jiu-jitsu as well. So with that being said, give me Macy Chasson to win this fight via decision. Probably one of the first favorites I've went for on the card, man. How about you? Or yeah, I should probably tell you the odds. Odds -120 Macy Chasson, +100 Ketlin Vieira. Over unders 2.5. Over 2.5 -360. Under 2.5 +260.
Yeah, I think for me for this fight, I think Macy Chasson, I think she's on a little bit of a roll here. She started to look more confident, and I do think that going back on that fight against Rocky Pennington, I think the biggest thing for me was that and Rocky's going to give people problems no matter what. That's my girl. I think she's a dog. But I just thought there was so much, I don't want to say quit in Macy Chasson, but man, she was definitely looking for a way out in that fight once Rocky kind of made it a little bit, grimy for her. And I just thought that, that was not the best Macy Chasson that showed up. And I've always thought that her biggest problem is that she's not always the most motivated when she comes to these fights. But I still think, even as you said, in that Irene Aldana loss, I still think that she looked well in that fight, and she was winning that fight until that up kick happened. So I'm not going to hold that against her. Just a shot that happens. It's a sport. It happens. But Ketlin Vieira is a tough girl. She gave Kayla Harrison a very tough fight. I think that ultimately she didn't do enough to win that fight, but she she was right there to being able to win that fight. And I'm pretty sure that went down to a split decision as well. Caitlin Vieira's got decent striking, pretty good takedowns for the most part. She's pretty well rounded. She doesn't have a great submission game by any means, but she can get the fight down to the ground and, display some good control. But I think her biggest thing too, as you said, not advancing the position, but I also think she does pressure, but she's very flat-footed. And I think she just leaves herself open too much at the where she gets just pounded on. Similar to that Randy Aldana fight, how Aldana kind of came over with that left hook and caught her. Rocky kind of outworked her as well, just, constantly just wearing on her. I think you can do that to Caitlin Vieira, and I think that Macy Chiasson is going to be one of the more well-rounded fighters at the women's 135 division at this point, with the grappling, with the striking. She's got good jabs, good kicks. I think Macy Chiasson gets the job done, and I think Macy Chiasson gets the job done by decision.
Fair enough. I said it after the Caitlin Vieira versus Kayla Harrison fight. I was like, call me crazy. Kayla Harrison right now in the UFC would lose to Macy Chiasson and to Norma Dumont, both of them. And I said that right after like the last
doesn't
fight.
Macy have a win over Norma?
Yeah.
Did she beat Norma back in the day? So yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
So I mean, Macy's just Macy's good when she's on her game.
Yeah. So with that being said, let's move on to the next fight of the night, where we've got Dustin the Hanyak Jacoby taking on Bruno Lopez. There's a lot of Brunos in the UFC now, D-Rose. Where are all of them coming from?
Yeah, there's a couple Bruno Silvas, so it's like we gotta be careful which Bruno we're talking about at this point.
Yeah, we got Bruno Lopez here taking on the Hanyak Dustin Jacoby. So let's get into it. The Hanyak Dustin Jacoby, 29-1 overall out of his last 5 fights. He is 3 losses and 2 wins. 2 years ago, lost to Azamat Murzakanov via decision. He did knock out Kennedy and Zechiku a year and 9 months ago. I watched that live in Nashville. Anyway, he did lose to Alonzo Minifield a year and 5 months ago. Knocked out by Dominic Reyes 11 months ago and came back pretty quick to knock out Vitor Petrino, dude. Kind of surprised a lot of us, to be honest. Dustin Jacoby is 37 years old, 6'3", and a 76-inch reach, while Bruno Lopez is 14-1 overall. His only loss is on the Contender Series against Brenison Haberio. Got knocked out, dude, but anyone can get caught, man. And Brenison Haberio does hit hard, and in his last fight, who was it against? He just kind of went all 3 rounds and just beat the guy. Kind of surprised us again, because I don't think Brenison Haberio is that good, but maybe I just compare him to his brother too much, and he's a lot better than his brother is. But, that's for another day. We'll figure it out. Bruno Lopez is 32 years old, 6'2", and a 74-inch reach. D-Rose, I'm going to let you break this down, dude. I know the Hanyak is your guy, so I'll give you the odds. Dustin Jacoby, minus 198, the favorite. Bruno Lopez, plus 164, the dog. Over-under here is 2.5. The over 2.5 is minus 110. The under 2.5 is minus 120.
Yeah, I think for me, I'll just say it, as you said, Dustin Jacoby's one of my guys. I'm going to go Dustin Jacoby here. I do think that Dustin Jacoby, I know they have mentioned that he's one of the main coaches down at the camp of Mark Montoya and them down in Colorado now. So I didn't realize that he's actually one of the main coaches now. But I know that he has been cornering a lot of fighters, within his last few fights. And I know Anthony Smith has shouted him out multiple times on helping guys out and for other fighters around in the gym and everything. So I think Dustin Jacoby, smart fighter, man. Coming off that, that big win against, Vitor Petrino, I think that's something that can kind of jolt the confidence back into him to know that, I think his last few fights, he's definitely, done some overthinking versus it's like, man, you got good power. You got good strike. You're going to be a better striker than a lot of these guys in this division. Just, go out there and show it sometimes. And I do think sometimes he struggles to pull the trigger, but I think Bruno Lopez, he looked okay in the Contender Series, and I know he got the win against Gadzhi Asulov, but at this point with Gadzhi Asulov, I don't know how great he is at this point. So I'm going to say the more battle-tested guy in the UFC at this point, the more experienced guy at this point. I'm going to go Dustin Jacoby, and I'm going to go Jacoby. Man, I can say like a round 3 or decision, but give me Dustin Jacoby here.
Fair. I don't hate you for it. I personally see this as a close fight. I mean, the odds are pretty close anyway. My thing is, if I knew that Dustin Jacoby was going to come out there and stick the jab on him over and over again, then I would 100% pick him. But, dude, I almost feel like here recently, it's almost like he fights at the same pace that his opponent's fighting at. And if it goes like that, dude, then just power shot for power shot, I have to go Bruno Lopez. If it goes to the grappling, I have to go Bruno Lopez. So I'm going with the dog again, man. Plus 164. Give me Bruno Lopez to win this fight via decision. Yeah.
I mean, that's about what our 7th different pick.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5th different pick, D-Rose, to be exact. I'm about to sneeze. Oh, I don't know. It may have went away. Anyway, we'll move on to the next fight of the night, which will be the featured fight of the night between Ramiz Brahimaj and Billy Ray Goff. Odds for the fight: Billy Ray Goff minus 345, the favorite. Ramiz Brahimaj plus 275, the underdog. Over under here is 1.5. The over 1.5 is minus 175. The under 1.5 plus 138. I have an opinion here, D-Rose, but let me break it down first. Ramiz Brahimaj is 11-5 overall. Out of his last 5 fights, he is 3 wins and 2 losses. Win against Sasha Palatnikov, who exactly 3 years and 9 months ago. He lost to Court McGee 3 years and 4 months ago. He beat Michael Gilmore, which is probably one of the worst fighters to ever come into the UFC. He did lose to Thema Garimbo via decision a year ago, and then he did knock out Mickey Gall 6 months ago. But does that surprise you? It doesn't surprise me. I probably picked Mickey Gall in that fight to win, if I'm going to be honest. Anyway, Ramiz Brahimaj, 32 years old, 5'10" and a 73-inch reach. Trains with Kevin Holland at Travis Luter BJJ. Anyway, Billy Ray Goff is 9-3 overall. Out of his last 5 fights, he is 4 wins and 1 loss. Let me find his UFC Contender Series. Knocked out the guy, and he did knock out Kinoshita. And then he did lose a decision to Trey Waters. But, Trey Waters is like 6'5" at welterweight. Like, Jesus Christ, dude.
Absolutely.
It's going to be hard beating that guy. Anyway, Billy Ray Goff, 26 years old, 5'10", and a 72.5-inch reach. Have you done your research here, D-Rose? Do you know who you're picking here, D-Rose? Before I just start. I do
know who I'm picking.
Let's see if we end up on the same side. Well, no secret. Minus 345 favorite. I'm going to pick Billy Ray Goff here. But it's not, I'm just picking him to win. I have a very specific reasoning, and my method for him winning this fight is Ramiz Brahimaj is a good grappler, but that's his go-to. If he's forced to stand on the feet for a long extended period of time, I don't know how it's going to look. So I expect him to come out hot in the first round, because I'm not saying he has no striking. He comes out hot in the first round, swangs and bangs, if you will. But his bread and butter is on the ground. But I don't think he's ever won a fight that has gone past the first round. And Billy Ray Goff is a DOG. He might not be a dog as far as the odds this weekend, but this dude will continue to if you want to bet on a fighter ever, these are the fighters that you want to bet on. The fighters that will fight for your money. They want to do anything in life but lose the fight that they're currently in, dude. I watched him get head kicked like cartoonishly Johnny Walker, like fly through the air, almost finished, and then come back like 2 rounds later and then end up finishing the guy, dude. He is a warrior like no other. And I suspect Billy Ray Golf maybe has some trouble in the first round with Ramiz Brahimaj because he does come out hot. But we see a round 2 or round 3 knockout from Billy Ray Golf. So for me, I'm going to go late round 2 knockout for Billy Ray Golf. How about you, man?
Yeah, I think the only thing that's got me really a little bit hesitant on this one is just Billy Ray Golf coming in on because he is coming in on a short notice, correct?
Well, he was going to fight Oban Elliott. No, like Ramiz Brahimaj was going to fight Billy Ray Golf was going to fight Co, and now they're going to fight each other.
Okay. So then that makes me feel a little bit more comfortable because I knew that Brahimaj was supposed to fight Oban Elliott, and then I guess I think they said Oban Elliott was having like visa issues or something like that. So yeah, no, that Billy Ray Golf, that makes me feel a little bit more comfortable than knowing that he's been in some type of camp and has been kind of ready, potentially for some grappling as well, because I think that's going to be probably that's going to be Brahimaj's best way to go, because I think, keeping it on the feet, as you said, Billy Ray Golf is a dog. He's got power in his hands. He's got good boxing, and he's relentless. His pressure, he works with a lot of pressure, just forward moving, big power in his hands with each shot, and he's just willing to go in there and willing to take one and give one as well. So that's what I like about his attitude. So give me Billy Ray Golf here. I'm going my first round KO, but give me Billy Ray Golf here.
Okay. Surprising. Okay. First round KO, D Rose, Billy Ray Golf. But hey, we're not split there, so a little bit of surprise. We got 5 different ones we're already split on. Will we be split right here on the 6th one? Co-main event of the night. That is Matus Gamer Gamrot taking on Ludovic Mr. Highlight Klein. So let's get into it. Matus Gamer Gamrot is 24-3 overall out of his last 5 fights, 2 losses and 3 wins. A loss to Benny D 2 years ago. We watched that one in your basement, right, Deros?
Yeah. Watch him get clubbed in the 3rd round. That punch from Benny D sounded like a shotgun.
Yep. And then he did beat Jalen Turner via split decision. Don't think so. He did. The Rafael Fiziev jumped up and injured his knee. He did beat Rafael Dos Anjos via unanimous decision, but man, he didn't have the easiest time with RDA, if I have to be honest. And then he did lose to Dan Hooker via split decision 9 months ago, where we called it, D-Rose, where we called it. Matus Gamrot, 34 years old, 5'10" and a 70-inch reach, while Ludovic Klein is 23-4-1 overall out of his last 5 fights, 4 wins and 1 draw against Jai Herbert, which isn't a good look, if I have to be completely honest. He did beat Ignacio Bahamundes via unanimous decision. He did beat AJ Cunningham, which who doesn't. Did beat Thiago Moises via decision, and then Roosevelt Roberts, a unanimous decision. Ludovic Klein is 30 years old, 5'7" and a 72.5-inch reach. The height kind of worries me here, but I think me and you also talked about this one this past weekend at your house as well. Odds for the fight, -162, Matus Gamrot. The favorite, the dog, is Ludovic Klein plus 136. Over under is here is at 2.5. The over 2.5 is -298. The under 2.5 is plus 220. Yeah, man, I don't think that Matus Gamrot is that good, man. And UFC knows that. They've gave him the opportunity as the backup how many times now? And this dude's yet to get a sniff the title shot, dude. It's just like this dude has one thing. He's going to go in there. He's going to grab the single leg and he's going to pull it. It's basically Jacob Malkoun at 155. The thing is, Matus Gamrot, he gets dropped a lot, dude. I think in like his past 5 fights, he's been dropped in like all of them, dude. So it's just like he's going up against Ludovic Klein that hits like a fucking truck, man. I know it's not a popular pick this week, But neither has my other 5 really. So I'm going to go with a dog again. Give me Ludovic Klein to knock out Mateusz Gamrot. He's getting a little bit older now, 34 years old. He gets hurt or wobbled in every single fight, and I think Ludovic Klein's got the power to put him out, maybe get a ground and pound, maybe even an early stoppage. I don't even care. Let's go Ludovic Klein knockout over Mateusz Gamrot. How about you, D-Rose?
Yeah, I think we had talked about this one, and honestly, I'll be honest, I've really had to do like some deep diving on this fight because I have not been consistent with who I want to pick. I'm just being honest. I think this fight can be absolutely a coin flip. For me, I know, Ludovic Klein, he's looked great at 155. He's had, great takedown defense. And I know that Mateusz Gamrot, I know he lost that last fight against Dan Hooker. I did call that. I did think that Dan Hooker is going to be able to go in there and get the job done. But and as you said, RDA did make Mateusz Gamrot work for it in that fight as well. I think the big thing for me, I think for Gamrot in that last fight going up against Dan Hooker, I think he very much underestimated Dan Hooker's takedown defense and his ability to get up. And I think that he looked a little bit more beefy because I actually went back and I watched that fight just because, one, that was a fun fight, and two, I think that Gamrot really came in there a little bit more beefy than what he normally does. And I think he was going to try to use a lot of the ground game and was surprised by how Hooker's game was. I think the biggest thing for me too, going back on Klein's fights, him being a former 145er, he did get smoked by Nate Landwehr as well. Had the draw against John Herbert. He's beaten a couple guys. Thiago Moises is solid. Roosevelt Roberts, it's like he just hasn't beaten that type of competition just yet, where you can say at least Gamrot does have wins over Jalen Turner, RDA, Armin Saryukian, guys like that, and he's fought tougher competition. So, and I think that Ludovic Klein likes a clean fight. Gamrot will make that fight dirty. There's just no doubt about it. He's going to put the pressure on. He's going to use his striking. He's going to use his wrestling. I think he's going to try to make Klein tired. I think Gamrot gets it done by decision, man. So yeah, I'm going back and forth on this one, but I think I'm settled with Gamrot by decision.
All right, man. I don't hate it. We'll add it to the list of every other fight that we have picked different on in this card, dude. Half the card we got different picks on. So hey, you know what? One of us are going to be right here on the podcast, right?
One of us got to be.
Yeah. Just a draw every fight. Draw. All right. Main event time. If you guys haven't already, please do us a favor and hit that thumbs up button for your boys if you don't mind. So let's get into it. And at the end of this fight breakdown and at my prediction, I will be making a bet here live with you guys. Yeah, dude. So here we go. We've got cold-blooded Erin Blanchfield taking on Macy, the future Barber. Erin Blanchfield is 13-2 overall out of her last 5 fights. She is 4 wins and 1 loss. She does have a Molly McCann submission, meatball sub, if you will. We have a Jessica Andrade rear naked choke. Talia Santos decision win. She did lose to Manon Fuhr via decision a year ago. I was at that one. And then she did beat Rose 6 months ago. That was close fight. I don't know if she won that, to be honest. Anyway, Erin Blanchfield, 26 years old, 5'4", and a 68-inch reach, while the future Macy Barber is 14-2 overall out of her last 5 fights. She has won all of them. Unanimous decision win over Montana De La Rosa 3 years ago. Jessica I decision win 2 years ago. Andrea Lee split decision win 2 years ago. Amanda Hebus KO win almost 2 years ago. And a Caitlin Chukagian win a year and 2 months ago. So we hadn't seen Macy Barber in a little bit. She is 27 years old, 5'5", and a 65-inch reach, D-Rose. Is there one time that Macy Barber's been the bigger girl in any of the fights that she's had, dude?
Is there what? I didn't hear that part.
Is there a fight that Macy Barber has been the bigger girl of the two in any fights that she's had? Taller.
Not that I can recall. Yeah, not that I can recall.
Apparently she's taller, dude. And I've been saying this for, I'm pretty sure after she lost to Manon Fear, I was like, match her up against Macy Barber, and then when she loses against Macy Barber, send her down to 115 because she's too small for 125, dude. And then that Manon Fear fight kind of showed it, man. Like, it's not that she's just not the biggest frame. It's almost like that she's a little pudgy as well, you know, not trying to be mean, but it almost looks like she could move down another weight class. Do you agree?
Yeah. Yeah, no, she does.
All right. So with that being said, Erin Blanchfield's got no fucking striking defense at all. She will walk face forward into punches. And if you do that against Macy Barber, you will get your block knocked off. I have been a notorious Macy Barber hater because I don't think she's the best fighter in the world. But if there's one thing that she does have, it's power and furiosity, dude. And she will lay some heat on some chicks. And having no striking defense is a recipe for disaster, dude. So right here, right now, dude, I will be making my bet. And that is going to be, I have a free bet, so it ain't going to be too wild or anything like that. Let me find MMA, UFC Fights. Erin Blanchfield versus Macy Barber, and right there. There we go. See that? I'm going to launch it. Macy Barber via knockout.
Wow.
20 bucks to win 110. Bang. There we go. There we go. We sent it. Macy Barber knocks out Erin Blanchfield this Saturday. Ground and pound, just thumps her. Just thumps her, dude. Let's go, Macy Barber. Which way are you going, man?
Hey, I know you've always accused me of being the #1 Erin Blanchfield fan. Hey, just because she won me a big bet, so I couldn't be too mad at her. Hey, she came through for me, and
You're lucky
I
I
thought she
can't
won
put
that
the
fight against
backgrounds up
Tyler
because I would have the backgrounds up, but no more backgrounds because I don't pay for StreamYard anymore.
Yeah, no, exactly. So that's why I had to get that part out there because I'm sure you missed being able to throw that out there on me. But I know I was accused of that, but hey, she hit a big bet for me. But I am actually a fan of Macy Barber, man. I love watching her fight. You know, just as you said, that furiosity, just extra, just tenacity, that dog energy that she brings, man. I love it. You know, that Hebos fight, just a perfect example of, you know, just everything that I think the fans love about her at her fullest potential. Yeah, and they're just absolutely just cracking Hebos, just punch, kick. I mean, just wearing her out and just having the blood gushing down her face with the ground and pound and everything. Like, yeah, that's what Macy Barber fans, that's what they love about her, man. You don't see many women fighters who go out there and fight like the way that she fights. So that's why she kind of stands out to me.
Have you heard her the interviews today?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah, she sounds full of she sounds a little bit full of piss and vinegar. I heard her interview with Ariel talking smack about how Erin is, you know, very one-dimensional and boring, and you know, although she is good at her craft, she's boring and all this stuff. So yeah, I love the energy that she's bringing to Erin as well. I think she got a little bit pissed off when Erin Blanchfield made the comment of, well, let's see if Macy actually makes the fight. Yeah, Macy got a little pissed off about that. And I think, you get Macy a little full of piss and vinegar going into a fight, man. I think that could turn bad for you. So I think, you know, for all the reasons you broke down, Blanchfield, good on the ground. She doesn't have great takedowns is her problem. Like, if she can get you to the clinch against the fence and she can get a trip, her top control is really good. She showed that in the Rose fight. She showed that in most of her fights that she's been able to get her wins in. Is when she gets the fight into the ground, she's very good at getting the control. She just doesn't have the best ways to set up her takedowns because she's not the best wrestler. She doesn't go for double legs. She's most of the time just trying to get somebody up to the fence just so she can get a trip. And then if she does, then the fight's in her world where I think Macy's not going to really give her that. I think Macy's going to give her a lot more resistance than Erin Blanchfield's other opponents have. So give me Macy Barber here, and I'm going to go Macy. I know you said by finish.
I think she knocks
still
her
tough
out
for me.
I think she knocks her out, dude.
but I think I'm going to go by decision for Macy. But I do think that Macy Barber gets the job done.
All right. With that being said, that is all the picks for the card. Prelims all the way up to main event. So let's get our pick champ of the week settled real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different fights on the card, D-Rose. We're not doing I don't like these.
I mean, you're certainly going to leave Alice Ardelino in there, right?
I mean, I didn't want to, but then after I looked at the rest of them, I'm like, shit, dude, that might be one of the ones that I leave on there. But I think I'm going to go Ludovic Klein, Gamrot, Zach Reese, Todorovich, because that one's fun.
Yeah.
That one's just fun.
Yeah, no, exactly. And it should be over with quick, regardless of who wins.
Yeah, and then I'm gonna go Kurt Hollabaugh, Jordan Levitt. How's it sound for you? So
That's
all three dogs for me.
Yeah,
all three
what was
dogs.
the first? I heard the last two. What was the first fight again?
Klein versus Gamrot.
Okay. Yeah. No, and honestly, I think the Klein and Gamrot fight's going to be fun. I mean, Gamrot's normally, I know he's got like the wrestling heavy style, but he can be in a pretty fun fight, man. I mean, even the Armin Hurricane fight, even that RDA fight to a certain extent. I mean, RDA cracked Gamrot big early with a knee when Gamrot was diving for the takedown. The Benny D fight, I mean, they had a lot of scrambles and stuff in that fight, so I think that fight's gonna be fun too. So I like the matchups just because I think all those fights can be fun.
All right, chance I get clean swept. I got 3 pretty solid dogs this week. Like all are plus 200, but it's all right. It's all right. Might get clean sweeped. Might have to get the 3 beans, but at least it'll be for your guys' entertainment. So. With that being said, that's for the pick champ of the week. We only have one thing left to cover. And right now, D-Rose, it's 1-0, baby. It's 1-0. The fisting of the week. It was Connor Matthews to get fisted by Yader DeValle. And man, he did more than that. He did more than that. So with that being said, fisting of the week this week, D-Rose. It's kind of tough because me and you are split on quite a few of them, correct?
Yes. And really, for my personal pick, I know this ain't gonna be the podcast pick. My personal pick would be Zach Reese, but I know that's not going to be doable because we're not on the same page.
We were on the same page on one of them, right? Was it Billy Ray Goff?
Billy Ray Goff.
All right. So fisting of the week this week. Billy Ray Goff to fist Ramiz Brahimaj. That's what we are going to decide on?
Yep. Billy Ray Goff.
All right. Billy Ray Goff is going to fist Ramiz Brahimaj this weekend. And if you don't know what fisting is, feel free to Google it. All right, dear. All right, Deros. Let me see if the chat's got anything before we get out of here. We got Dirty Reagan here going wild. Just thought about Macy Parlay wants to borrow $100 so he can do it. I don't know anyone going to loan you $100 to do it, but Dave wants to know what the fuck a Hanyak is. There we go. Backing dogs by decision could be tough. Gamrot lost to Armin and beat Guram. Yep. How was UFC Nashville when you went? Got tickets today? It was fun. I had a blast. I actually really enjoy outside the arena there. Like after the fights, you just walk outside and it's like a whole street of just bars. And it's like one of the streets that like is closed down so you can just walk through. It was a blast. I really enjoyed Nashville when I went. Would love to go this year, but I think D Rose is coming to my neck of the woods during that fight weekend, right?
Right. Yeah, it is
Yeah,
that way.
yeah, so I will not be going to Nashville this upcoming year. But with that being said, let's see. Broadway is fur. Yes, sir. Yeah, it was for sure fun. But yeah, with that being said, anything before we get out of here, D-Rose, or you good to go, man?
No, man. No, good good pod. Good to be back. We'll
Yes, sir.
I think there's not going to be a UFC event not on a Saturday for a while, so we should be on a nice little run here for the summer. The summer coming up, man, it's going to be a bunch of fun fights. So definitely excited for that. But let's go win some money this week, boys.
Can you imagine next week, dude? I'm going to be so excited to come here next week to talk about Sugar Sean O'Malley versus Marab 2. So that'll be next week. Catch us live right back here next Wednesday, 8:30 p.m. EST to break down or to recap these fights, give you our news and fight announcements, and to break down Sean O'Malley versus Marab 2. So with that being said, we appreciate all y'all for stopping by, hanging out with us here today. My name is Matt. D-Rose on that side of the screen. This has been the Golden Octagon MMA Podcast. We appreciate you guys for stopping by. Hit that thumbs up button on y'all's way out if you haven't already. And we will catch you guys. Well, I'll catch you Friday, and me and D-Rose will both catch you next Wednesday. Peace.